and they were sons, they were brothers, uncles, community leaders, servicemen. They had served their country for 25, 30 years, and they fell through the cracks. So the cracks are there, granted, and government, quite frankly, can't do it all. Let's be realistic. The healthcare system can't do it all. So, but we don't want any more of these, great Canadians to fall through the cracks. So please reach out. Help is out there.
I hear so many, different programs that are available to veterans now, that there's a lot of work that the federal government is trying to do. So those programs are there. Can you just list a few of them that are available for anyone who may be looking to seek help right now?
I think the entry point for any veteran should be Veteran Affairs, and I don't think anybody would argue that here. I can personally say that the Veteran Affairs of now, of Libsy today, is not the Veteran Affairs of old. They have great programs, they have got great people. Yes, there are some problems, but I think that they're working very, very hard to close those gaps. So again, just reach out, seek care, and get well.
When you speak of falling through the cracks, does it pertain to something when it comes to military culture and what's acceptable? Reaching out, is that acceptable these days?
That's an excellent question too. I think culture is a huge factor. I think the Canadian Forces have done a really good job over the last year to 18 months, maybe longer, to change that culture. You've seen public service announcements, you've seen Rick Hillier launch those. So I personally think that the culture is, changing. But, culture changes slowly. So this is not going to be an overnight thing. This is going to be something that will, take time and effort. But you're right, there is a culture out there that I think hinders people from, reaching out. But everybody's has to breach that obstacle and has to do what is not only right for them, but their families and their communities, and that's just reach out for help.
I've heard from a lot of different military groups, veterans groups, where they say family is sometimes one of the bigger important aspects to a veteran's life. That if you have a strong family and you're able to speak to your family, sometimes it does help in terms of the transition when you are becoming a veteran. What do you think families can do today to ensure that their loved ones, aren't possibly thinking about suicide or hurting themselves in any way?
Again, another excellent question. You're very well informed. I think families can or should reach out to the MFRC, to Libsy, the Military Family Resource Center. That should be their first stop, and perhaps seek guidance of their next steps through that through that agency. If they're veterans, then Libsy Veteran Affairs for sure. Wounded Warriors, great group doing some great stuff with equine therapy, with canine therapy.
Yes.
So it's not just Veteran Affairs. There's charities that are out there that are helping, and we're all in this together.
Can I ask you a bit about your ride? Because I've been following you on Facebook. You go quite a distance every single day, so you have quite a ways to go still.
Yeah.
How are you still planning on finishing by September? Is that still the goal?
Why, don't you think I can make it?
I would say yes. You're going very far every single day, but is that still the intended goal?
Absolutely. The last ferry leaves for Newfoundland on September 26th, and I'm going to be on that ferry.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how many kilometers will you have biked by then?
Well, I'm a little older now, so I'm doing about 80 to 100 per day when the weather's really nice. But the wet and the cold has slowed me down. Coming around Lake Superior was definitely a challenge. Ontario is, I forgot how big this province was. But every region, from the west, from the Rockies to the prairies, the wind through the prairies, the wet and cold and terrain of Ontario, they've all had their challenges. But you know what? That challenge doesn't even come close to the challenge of living with, mental health issues. So this ride isn't about me. This ride is for, the veterans.
Have you been getting any sort of reaction from veterans when you go from city to city?
Absolutely. They're coming out and saying hi. They're offering me a place to stay, warm shower. Absolutely. It's been great.
Does anyone else have any questions? I'm hogging all the questions here.
I was just going to get him to reiterate one. My mic wasn't on.
Sure.
At the beginning.
Yeah, absolutely.
Can they get it
Off?
Yeah. That's great. Good. If you can just tell me what inspired you to do this, and what exactly are you doing? How many miles are you covering?
Well, I'm actually going coast to coast, so I think the grand total is going to be 7,200, something like that. I've done 5,000 kilometers to date, and I'm doing a cross-country ride, coast to coast to promote, mental health illness issues that are in our active serving group, in the force population, and the veterans that are there also. I lost 2 friends, 2 colleagues through suicide last year, and being in the healthcare profession now past my army career, I was compelled to do something. So I hooked up with some sponsors, and here I am.
I'm going to wait till this truck goes by and then just get like when and what date and where and when do you hope to finish?
I started the 3rd of June in Victoria. Pushed my bike into the ocean there, and I should be finished if all goes well. The end September 29 September in actually St. John's State.
Have you run into any issues at all during the ride, or has everything been quite smooth?
Liberty physical fitness was, lacking. You don't know what to begin with.
Now.
I'm a little fitter. I'm not greatly, hugely fit, but it's a work in progress.
Good luck.
Well, thank you.
Aside from making it across Canada, what are your goals?
You know what? So we want to promote the issue, but I have to say 9 out of 10 people across the country that I've spoken to are aware of the plight of veterans' mental health. So, and that's to your credit. That's to the press corps' credit. I think the press have done an extremely good job to actually cover this story. So, thank you to each and every one of you for that. You've done a great job with this story. Liberty, the next goal was to link veterans. So if we could have an impact, personal impact. So we've met people and I've handed out some information too. So hopefully we've achieved that goal also.
And is awareness enough? What?
No, awareness is not enough. We need to turn awareness into action. So that's going to be like the next step, I think.
And how has the climate changed since you retired in 1996?
Correct. I think, Liberty, personally, I think the Canadian Forces have done a good job in trying to change the culture, trying to get it more normal for active serving members to seek treatment and to retain the soldiers that go through treatment programs. That's my personal experience. So I applaud that. I think that that's great. We owe these men and Liberty women a future, and I don't think veterans want handouts. I just think that they want care. That's all.
And on those grueling rides, have you caught yourself reflecting at any moment?
Oh, absolutely. I reflect for 7 hours a day on my bike. And that's a dangerous thing, to be left alone with my mind going for 7 hours. But it's hard not to think about places that I've been, things that I've done, people that I serve with. There's my second in command from Germany right there. So it's great when I get to see them.
What's on your bike?
Sure. It's very basic. very bare bones. I've actually thinned out the load 3 times. So I've actually thinned out my load 3 times. So I don't think I can go lighter. Personally can go lighter, but the bike can't go lighter. The left bag is food. The right bag is clothing. At the back here, this is a small camera bag with my shaving kit, with my shower kit, and these 2 bags back here, tent, sleeping bag, air mattress, stove, kettle. Small tripod for, my camera. I'm an amateur photographer, not a very good one. And then sandals, water. I carry 4.5 liters. Sometimes there's no towns close, so I have to carry my own water. And odds and sods. And this is my communication hub.
The commands.
No, you're the commander.